Welcome back to Travolting. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering speed kills. Enjoy the episode. Speed.
Kills.
I am Speed. 50 winners or 50 losers, 1 winner. Fly like a bomb. I forget the rest of the... It's whatever Lightning McQueen fucking says at the beginning of Cars.
Hey, Jeff, have you ever drank...
I don't have enough energy.
Have you ever drank salt water to feel alive?
So I have not.
You have it?
But do you know who supposedly did?
Supposedly.
Yes.
We don't have this locked down for sure, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, welcome to our episode on Speed and Kills.
Well, yeah, our episode on Speed Kills, the 2018 motion picture.
Listen, I'm going to need some speed in a second. Because I am dying here.
This fucking movie.
Because of the lack of speed. Speed could surely make me alive right now. Speed is not the enemy that is killing me. Speed is the lack thereof that I have. I need speed.
Yeah.
I'm really tired, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he's very tired, and we were talking about Gotti for like 8 hours. We're recording this at the same time we're doing the Gotti episode, for those curious.
Yes.
But what Stuart is referring to is in the IMDb trivia for this. There is a quote, in an interview with GQ, John Travolta reportedly drank the seawater claiming it made him feel alive.
Now,
I cannot find a GQ article, a GQ interview with John Travolta. I cannot find any evidence to this. It is probably not true. But we here on the Travolting podcast are choosing today to print the legend and say John Travolta, in fact, drank seawater for this motion picture.
yeah, I looked up Speed Kills GQ interview on YouTube. Nothing. But I just copy all that and go to Google. I mean, it's probably not true. But boy, oh boy, would it be a hoot and holler if it was.
That would be incredible. Stuart, do we want to dive into the context corner for this movie?
Is there context to this?
So the context corner for this movie is like a dusty, dimly lit corner, in that there's really not much. The only like behind the scenes for this movie I can find anywhere online is I can find a single interview with Kellen Lutz, who plays the bad guy of this movie.
Yeah.
I can find a single interview with him where he says inspiring quotes such as, "It was fun to be in this film because I hardly ever play an antagonist."
Great.
His interview is the only thing I can find about this movie behind the scenes.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
My boss wants a boat.
Your boss wants a boat?
And I told my boss I'd get him a boat. I love my boss. My boss took me out from the gutter. My boss gave me a job. I'll do anything for my boss. My boss needs a boat.
I'll get him a boat. Tell him to come by. We'll pick one up.
I'll tell my boss exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
My boss. My boss that I'm talking about. The boss. Folks, if you're confused, I basically just summarized the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes, there's a lot of talk of the boss.
There's a lot of talk of the boss.
But no, the context corner for this movie is that this is based on a nonfiction book also entitled Speed Kills.
Oh, so there is no Ben Aronoff.
Yes, it is based on a guy named Donald Aronoff, who in this movie they changed the name to Ben Aronoff. But it is loosely based on a true story.
Well, he's not Aaron on. He's Aronoff.
He's Aronoff.
Yeah.
But no, this is based on a nonfiction book also entitled Speed Kills about, a hustler turned boat racer turned boat production man.
Sorry, 1 second. He's not water off.
He's Aronoff. Yes.
He's not fired off. He's Aronoff.
Oh, my Lord.
All right, keep going. Sorry, I'm probably going to do this the entire episode.
Yes. About, hustler turned boat racer turned boat manufacturer turned mob associate turned dead body. Donald Aronoff, fictionalized as Ben Aronoff. Now, the real juice of this movie is in the producers and the director of this movie. Because if you
all did cocaine.
No, because if you look at I'm holding a Blu-ray copy of this movie for the folks listening at home. If you look at this, or you go to IMDb or Wikipedia or whatever, and you look at director, it says Jody Skurfield directed this movie. Now, Stuart, I ask you to find any evidence of Jody Skurfield existing.
Well, he or she or they only have one credit in IMDb, and that is Speed Kills.
They do not have a Wikipedia page. If you Google the name Jody Skurfield, you do not find any single evidence of anyone in the film industry.
Jody Schofield.
Are you seeing the problem here?
Wait a minute.
This person does not exist.
Jeff?
Yeah?
Hold on. Breaking news.
I know what you're about to say, and that's what I'm getting to. If it's about...
Different thing?
No, it's very much that.
It's the same thing?
Yes. So, Jody Skurfield does not exist. However, if you look back in time, and you look through the old posters for this movie, you can find posters from months to a year before this movie came out that credit John Lucenhop as the director of this movie. He is still the credited screenwriter of this motion picture, as well as a credited producer. But he is not listed as a director on this movie. And it is only to our assumption that he did not like the direction the film was going in post, abandoned it, and had his name changed to Jody Skurfield. Because Jody Skurfield does not exist. John Lucenhop was on the earlier posters, and he definitely does exist. Now, the only other things he's done is he directed the Texas Chainsaw movie in 2013. And a movie called Takers in 2010. Not Taken, Takers. So, already from the start, movie starting a little strange.
Yes.
Seemingly Alan Smithy did. Abandoned the motion picture, and it got dumped on direct-to-video and Redbox and whatnot.
And even then, for direct-to-video Redbox, This is a crapshoot.
Yes. And this movie...
How many producers does this movie have?
This movie has the most producers I've ever seen on a movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the back of the Blu-ray of this, and the billing block, that's usually like 3 to 4 lines at the bottom. In this is 9 lines. 9 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those are producers.
Yeah, on IMDb, there's 39 credited producers.
Yes, there's roughly 39.
39.
There are 39 on the back of this box. This movie clearly had some monetary problems. It may, in fact, be a money laundering scheme.
I think it is.
I would not be shocked if this is. From the abandoned director to the fact that it is about money laundering to the 39 producers, I would not be surprised if this was used to launder some serious mob cash.
Do you know this is the same DP of I Am Wrath?
It is, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's doing some Travolta business at this time. It's also the DP of Pulp Fiction.
What?
Yes.
Shut the front door. And American Psycho.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up when we were talking about I Am Wrath, but the DP of this movie, Andre Sekula, also shot Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. He was Tarantino's guy at the beginning.
What happened? What happened to him?
He's just it's rough.
Washed up.
He's also the director of Cube 2, Hypercube.
Okay.
Which is important to note.
There is no trivia about this guy.
Oh yeah, next to nothing.
I just want to know, like, do they have a falling out?
He and Tarantino?
Yeah.
I mean, Tarantino basically moved on to more expensive. He got more budget, and he moved on to more expensive DPs and more expensive camera stocks, and sadly left this guy behind. And then he found himself doing Speed Kills 20 years later. Tragic.
You think he still, like, stays up late at night drinking and be like, I used to be fucking Tarantino's DP.
I used to do Tarantino's.
Whoa, look at I'm fucking doing.
He's like, I could have been somebody.
Also, the AD credit list for Speed Kills has only 4 credits, one of which is listed as set PA. Because there's a first AD, James Currier, a second AD, Colleen Comer, and a second Jesus Romero.
Now, the end credits of this movie do have more people listed. I just think a lot of people did not want this on their credit list.
Of course not. Of course not.
That's literally all the context. Travolta's in this movie. He's coming off of Gotti. It's back-to-back 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for him. Yeah. He's fully in Redbox direct-to-video land right now, and there's really nothing else to say about it. What are you reading?
Just looking at more like production assistance on it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there is a Victor Segui who is the key set PA. I want to talk to Victor.
You want to know what happened?
I want to know what happened on this movie. I want to know how long the first AD was in John Travolta's trailer snorting cocaine.
I think this movie was probably shot in like a day. They probably shot this whole thing at once.
Can we find that info?
We cannot because there's nothing on.
I honestly don't want to really talk about the plot. I just want to talk about how they made this movie. Because I guess filming locations, Miami, Florida, and Puerto Rico. Budget of $15 million. Jeff.
Sounds like a money laundering scheme.
That's $5 million more than Gotti.
And this looks half as expensive as Gotti.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because Gotti had color grading, even if it was questionable color grading.
Yeah. I want to know how it was shot and filmed.
Do you want to dive into the plot and then discuss the various crazy scenes?
Yes.
As we go through? I think we're going to go through this fairly quickly.
Okay.
Because a lot happens in this movie.
Really?
But can you comprehend any of it?
No.
Because this movie starts off with John Travolta like in his
modern
boat store.
Not modern day. Modern day is 1980.
It's like early 90s, I think.
Early 90s?
Early 90s, late 80s.
And Travolta's looking like his normal age.
Yes, this is quite a moment.
He's like 64.
1987. That's when Donald Aronoff was killed.
So this is like regular age Travolta.
Yes.
64 at this
60
point.
something, yes.
64.
Yes.
64.
Yes, he's 64.
Jeff.
Which is important.
He's 64 years old.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that later in this movie.
Yes. And so he's in his boat store. And who walks in but Tom Sizemore?
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore.
Tell me a little bit about Tom
Who does not appear for the rest of this movie. Minus the ending.
Minus the ending.
Tom Sizemore, who at this point in time, as far as I believe, is also kind of trapped in direct-to-video world.
Can we do a live reading of the first scene of this movie, Jeff? You be Travolta, I'll be
okay,
Tom Sizemore.
I looked up Tom Sizemore. He is deep in direct-to-video world at this point. For the movies he was in 2018, this is the only one that has a Wikipedia page. Wow. The rest are movies like The Second Coming of Christ, The Lich, Unkillable, The Martyr Maker, Black Wake, Dead Ringer, Prepper's Grove, Nazi Overlord, Exit 14, The Debt, and
Wait
Old Bryce.
a minute. Prepper's Grove?
Prepper's Grove.
I know somebody who worked on Prepper's Grove.
Prepper's Grove, the motion picture.
Can we talk about Prepper's Grove for a second?
The 2018 motion picture?
Yes. I know someone who worked on Prepper's Grove.
It does not exist. I want to note this right now. This movie does not exist. Who could you possibly know in this? Who worked on this movie?
Okay, different Prepper's Grove.
Different. I was like, there's no way you know someone who worked on the Tom Sizemore Prepper's Grove. But no, he's pretty much doing like 15 movies a year. None of them exist. This is coming right off of him doing Twin Peaks, which kind of got him some praise. Not like an insane amount, but he got a little bit of it. But Tom Sizemore, he appears at the beginning of this movie. And we're doing a live reading of this scene. Is this correct?
So let's set the stage. It's the boat shop.
Yes.
Boat store.
Yes.
And John Travolta's in his office.
Yes.
A little distinguished. Got some gray, whitish hair. Very tan, but ugly tan.
Okay. Sidebar. We got to talk about the bronzer budget on this movie.
Oh, my God. The bronzer.
If this movie is $15 million, $5 million of that went to the bronzer. Because everybody in this movie
fucking bronzed
looking
up.
Tan.
Pasty tan.
Everyone in this movie is looking like a statue.
They are a paintbrush.
Yes, it looks like someone just like brushed up on them with bronzer.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing.
And like you can see the lines in some parts where there's a part where he has like flip-flops on and he's like pasty white feet because they didn't bronze it up.
Lazy.
It's so funny. Okay.
So
but yes, the bronzer budget.
There's these two women who work inside the boat shop and Tom Sizemore walks in.
Yes.
And Tom is like, I need to speak to your boss. I was sent by my boss. He wants to buy a boat.
And the girl's like, he's not here. And he's like, well, I need to talk to him. And then Travolta comes out.
It's like, there's going to be a problem if I don't talk to him. And then you're Travolta.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, what's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me? My boss sent me to buy a boat. And I intend to buy my boss a boat.
Well, tell your boss to come back another day and we'll pick one out for him.
You want me to tell my boss to come back later? Listen, my boss took me out of the gutter. My boss gave me a job. I appreciate my boss. I love my boss. I'd suck my boss's dick.
That's great. I can't remember exactly what it said.
We said it verbatim.
Yes.
That's exactly what is said in the movie. Okay.
Tom Sizemore talks a lot about his boss.
Very much.
Yes.
But it's supposed to be threatening. It's like, well,
Yes.
I'll tell your boss I'm out.
Yes.
It's like, I'll tell him exactly what you said.
Yeah, tell my boss exactly what you said.
So then Tom Sizemore leaves.
Yes.
He gets in the car with
some guy.
Big Porter.
A big guy.
Big Porter Stromboli guy.
Yes. Big mafioso hitman.
Big mafioso hitman. Who pulls up to John Travolta getting in his car.
John Travolta gets a briefcase full of money and he runs out and gets his car and he drives off. A car comes driving toward him in this parking lot and like waves his hand out, indicating for him to stop.
Yeah.
Travolta knows the hit is out on him and he stops the car next to this guy.
Guy pulls out his gun.
And shoots him.
Bang, bang, bang. Cuts to black.
Oh, no. We cut to black right before the gun fires.
Yeah.
And then we just we freeze frame and we get John Travolta saying, my name is Ben Aronoff. I'm a contractor, father, and out of business.
Travolta opening monologue. Ding.
Yes. And we cut back. Oh, important note. Tom Sizemore in this movie. Tom Sizemore and John Travolta have both played the role of John Gotti in the past. Tom Sizemore played John Gotti in the motion picture Witness to the Mob, and Travolta, of course, played him in our epic Gotti episode last week that you folks have hopefully listened to in full at this point.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeff. We never released an episode last week called Gotti.
My sweet summer child.
It literally went from 3 to Tango to this episode.
3 to Tango to this.
Where there was no Gotti episode. What are you talking about?
Oh, there's also a sound cue I want to note during this.
Okay.
It's trying to be all dramatic when Sizemore leaves. And there's a part where he has a cigarette, and the music's like, brrr, and Sizemore drops a cigarette, and then he steps on with his foot to stub it out. And right as his foot hits the pavement, the cigarette's here, like the sound does like a drum beat right there. It's so funny.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Anyway, so we flash back and it says 25 years earlier. We open up on John Travolta looking exactly the same. Not even like they didn't even gray him up in the previous scene. He looks exactly the same.
Yes.
There's no change in makeup.
Exactly.
No hairstyle change. The wig is the same. Because we got to acknowledge it's a wig.
Are we going to talk about a wig?
Do you want to bring up the wig? Do you want to talk about this?
All right. Cue the hair ranking music now. Welcome to the hair ranking. Holy shit. This fucking wig. Because, like, it changes throughout the film, but I think the predominant wig that we see worn in this movie, it's like a perm.
It is a perm.
Yeah, it's a perm. And it doesn't look great. Okay, I got a good one. Look, Jeff. This does not look great on Travolta. And it does not look great on him trying to make him look like a 20-year-old. Or how old is he supposed to be in the 60s? Because he's how old in the 80s when he dies?
Yes.
How long was Don Aronon versus Ben Aronoff when he was killed?
Don Aronow was 59 when he was killed.
And it's 25 years earlier?
25 years old, so he would have been 34.
So this is 34-year-old Travolta?
Travolta is looking
mad 50.
Roughly 50.
Mad 50.
Yes.
This hair does not do him any favors on that. Look at the hair on the knuckles. That's dad hair knuckles. That's knuckle dad hair. For folks who know what I'm talking about, knuckle dad hair, Twitter, hashtag it. Knuckle Dad here. Oh my God. Look at this.
He looked straight like a local TV ad salesman.
He does. Oh my God. Okay, it's gonna go very low. It's gonna go.
All right, where are we putting this?
It's gonna go so low. Okay. Oh shit. Wait. What happened?
I don't know what did happen.
Oh no, there it is. There it is. I got
found
it. Oh, Jeff, stop! I'm using your mouse thing, bro. Okay. Put it below. Put it below Savages above I Am Wrath.
Below Savages above.
Not quite as I Am Wrath bad, but it's pretty bad.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I Am Wrath is just John Wick. So, let's see. This is
with inconsistent colors and a terrible hairline. This one at least hides the hairline okay.
Yeah, it's like kind of floofy, so it's a little more. It's not like a straight line like in I Am Wrath.
Okay.
So he looks exactly the same.
Exactly the fucking same.
And he's talking about, he's like, what business was he in before? I forget.
Real estate?
He's in real estate. And he talks about how he like built half of Miami or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But he's going out of business for reasons.
5 boroughs in Miami.
Yeah, 5 boroughs in Miami.
Yeah.
It's at this point when this movie starts going full Scorsese.
Yes.
Or attempt to be Scorsese. Because he's like narrating everything. And every time we're introduced to a new character, freeze frames on him.
You know what it is?
What?
It's trying to be Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, it's trying to do Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
This is full-blown a Wolf of Wall Street knockoff. And that's what makes it very funny. It's also at this point where I'm like, Miami is the least appealing-looking city in the world. Like, there's no part of this movie where I'm like, yeah, I want to go to Miami. I just feel like, yeah, great.
When you go to Miami, it's just the beach.
It's the beach and a club.
Yes.
It's like all shitty, ugly white condos that Ben Aronoff supposedly built.
Right.
So watching this, at no point was I like, I want to go there. I'm like, keep you away.
So eventually he hops on a boat.
Yes, he goes joyriding with a friend?
On a speed
Shelley? Is that his name? Shelley?
I don't know.
Played by Michael Weston?
Blonde man.
Yeah.
He's known as Blonde Man.
Yeah, so he goes boat riding with... Oh, no, this is his, like, partner. His boat racing partner.
Blonde Man.
Yeah, whose name we never learn. Is
Blonde
never
man.
important to the movie.
It's Blonde... It's Jeff.
Yes.
Look
Blonde
at me.
Man.
Look at me. It's Blonde Man.
It's Blonde Man. Okay, he goes riding with Blonde Man.
And he likes it.
Yes.
It's like, woohoo!
And so my man rides a boat once in his life and decides, I'm getting out of real estate. I'm going in the boat business.
And not just the boat business, but he's going to build and sell high-speed racing boats.
Yes, while also race them himself to drive up sales.
And so he does that.
Yes.
He starts winning some.
He starts winning races.
When does Michael Weston come in?
Michael, he just kind of appears.
He is John Travolta's lawyer?
Yeah, lawyer.
/ stepfather.
Yes.
When I say stepfather, I don't mean John Travolta's stepfather. I mean he's basically like raising John Travolta's family.
Yes.
Because John Travolta has a wife and kids.
Yes.
Or a wife, at least.
Does she even have a name in this movie?
No, she does have... Oh, they do have kids. Because one of them gets in a mysterious car accident and paralyzed.
Yes. This is the second movie in a row where one of John Travolta's kids gets hit by a car.
Yes.
Between this and Gotti. But no, he becomes a racer in his boat entitled The Cigarette. He named his boat The Cigarette.
At least it wasn't called the Royale.
Which I'm like, The Cigarette seems like a poor name for a boat.
But imagine if it was called the Royale.
The Royale with cheese. It would have been terrible.
It would have been.
We get a very low-rent race-winning montage.
Yes.
Where it's like just still images of Travolta smiling with like the words going across the screen that say Nassau, Poland, all these like things that he's raced and won.
Yeah.
And we get montages like building the cigarette boat.
There's a scene where he like wins a race and he's celebrating, and there's like this borderline 18 to early 20-year-old lady looking at him, and then they have sex.
Yes.
Jeff, when I was watching this, I then texted you this. What was what were my text?
Stuart, your text me or movie were a treasure unto themselves. But
what did I text you during this illicit sex scene between John Travolta in this.
You said, "Oh God, he's having sex with, I swear, a 20-year-old," and Johnny T is 64. Yes, he has an affair.
Boobs are shown.
Yes.
Does she have any lines?
No.
Which means she's probably just background.
Yes, she is an object in this movie for John Travolta's affections.
Which means she wasn't even SAG.
Yeah.
She got paid $162 for 8 hours. Don't ask me why I know that.
Yeah.
To literally be on screen, picked out by the director.
Yes.
Be like, you're going to be the lady John Travolta has sex with in bed.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And that's that.
And that's that. You think she walked home that night after getting in a van to crew parking? She's like, boy, I really worked for that paycheck today.
Yeah. It's making John Travolta stand there looking like a ghoul. He kind of looks ghoulish.
Because he takes his shirt off and he's not 34.
John Travolta looking a little ghoulish in this movie, let me just say.
He's pasted on with the bronzer, and he's so old. He does not pull off below 50.
He does not pull up below 40, which is what he's trying to do.
No, and she is definitely like a 19-year-old.
And so he's having sex with this 20-year-old in his yacht in some other country. And Shelley shows up and is like, "You're abandoning your family." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "You're abandoning them." And then he goes home and his son gets hit by a car.
And he's like, "What do we have to? If your son's got to get hit by a car, why am I speaking at a Brooklyn accent? But why is it your son has to get hit by a car in order to be recognized? What do we have to do?"
Yeah.
And then here's what's funny, Jeff, because does that scene sound like it ended up with them getting a divorce?
No.
But then what happens in the next scene?
They get a divorce.
He sits down next to He's like, "So it's over between me and Marilyn." I don't know if her name's Marilyn.
He and his wife break up, but he reconciles with his son who got hit by a car.
Very easily.
Very easily. He's like, "Let's go to a horse racing game." And his son's like, "No." And he's like, "Come on, let's do it." And the son's like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, cool after that. And the son's now confined to a wheelchair for life, but they're fine.
But they're fine. Yeah. Travolta goes back to racing.
Yeah, he goes back to racing. The only thing he was ever any good at.
Yeah. Where's the mob come in with this?
So the mob shows up to call in a favor. He apparently owes a debt to a guy named Meyer Lansky.
Is this the guy that plays Dexter's dead dad in the Dexter show?
The actor's James Remar. I'm trying to find...
Interesting career.
He is in Dexter.
Interesting career, James Remar. Because James Remar plays the ghost dad in Dexter.
He's also... He pops up in a lot of stuff as like U.S. General...
Yes.
Like a lot of like small bit parts. He's a working actor, which like you got to respect.
Yes. Of course.
You know, he does like... It looks like his most recent lead role was in the TV show Black Lightning, which I think was a DC superhero.
He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Ugly Owl.
Ugly Owl.
Yeah.
But you know, he's working. He goes around between stuff.
Yeah. Frank Gordon in Gotham.
But I want to talk. I don't want to talk about James Remar.
That's too bad because I do.
No, I want to talk about the character he's playing, Meyer Lansky.
Yes.
Because do you know that Meyer Lansky is a real person?
Really?
Yes. I mean, and they did not change his name in this.
They didn't.
Meyer Lansky was really like the mob's. He's known as the mob's accountant, and he's known for saying the line, "We're bigger than U.S. Steel," supposedly.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Watching this, there's a part in this movie where Meyer Lansky, the character, tries to flee to Israel to escape U.S. prosecution.
Sure.
Because like they accept all Jews.
Yes.
And he gets denied. And I was like, that sounds really familiar, that guy in The Godfather. So I looked it up. Meyer Lansky is the inspiration for Hyman Roth in The Godfather Part 2.
No shit.
So this character in this movie, who's a real person, is the inspiration for the guy in The Godfather who Michael has killed in the second movie. The Jewish accountant who like tries to get them into Cuba, which is essentially the same thing he's doing in this movie. So this movie, in spite of being low budget, cheap, is running parallel to the same like plot points that movies like The Godfather are operating in.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting. I just wish I cared anything about it in this movie. But the mob pulls up and they're like, "You're gonna sell us boats for a discounted price. We're gonna use them to smuggle cocaine."
He's like, okay.
Yeah, and so they get some of his boats.
This is when the DEA starts getting involved.
Yeah, the DEA, represented by one agent, played by Amory Nolasco,
Yeah.
who I only know because he was in the first Transformers movie as Fig. He's one of the soldiers in Josh Duhamel's squad who gets killed by the Scorpion Transformer.
No shit.
Yeah. He's the one who talks about his mom cooking alligator.
Aww.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Who remembers you remember the 2007 Transformers movie?
That.
When there's all the soldiers. He's the one who's like, my mama cooked alligator, and Tyrese is like, that's awful.
This is when the Scorpion droid literally like pops out of the sand, does like a high-tech karate tail stab, and then just goes back underground.
And flips him around.
Do you remember how great the first scene of first Transformers was?
Yeah. Talk about a good movie.
Talk about a good movie. But not just like with the Shia LaBeouf, just like with the storyline of the soldiers getting attacked at the base, then getting attacked by the Scorpion droid in the town. Dude.
I will go to bat for the first Transformers movie.
Dude.
No one's doing it like that movie. That movie is at least like, stylish.
I could honestly not give a shit about like the Bumblebee and the patrols. What was the evil patrol squad car?
Barricade. It's coming back to me.
I literally do not give a shit about the who was the guy that said, sometimes the driver picked the car, but the car picks the driver.
Disrespect to fucking Bernie Mac. Okay. You don't get... What the fuck is wrong with you, buddy?
Okay, no, we're going to talk about...
No. No, I'm not letting this aggression stand.
We're going to talk about Transformers for 20 minutes. We're going to sit here and talk about Transformers for 20 minutes. Like, I could not give a shit about the Bernie Mac, Shia LaBeouf, Bumblebee barricade storyline.
Yeah.
But the soldiers from the opening scene at the base, at the Air Force Base, to the Arabian, like, little town, like, that was a good plot line in that first Transformers movie.
You know what else was a good plot line?
What?
The Shia LaBeouf Bernie Mac plot line with his parents.
I mean, it's fine. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
Do you know why the first Transformers is good?
Why?
Because it's split between two plot lines for the first half.
Yeah.
And one of them is like it's like an old Steven Spielberg movie. Bay's doing an homage to Spielberg, where it's like a kid gets his car and it turns out to be a robot. He goes on this little adventure. Yeah. And the other one is soldiers in Iraq betrayed by their government, attacked by a robot.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
dope.
it just keeps intercutting between like Shia LaBeouf being like, no, my car's getting stolen. And then we cut to like people like literally having their skin melted off in the desert. Giant robots are blowing up U.S. bases.
Fucking tight, man. tight. But yeah, good movie. And then when all the rest of the Transformers show up and they all given like distinct personalities and like, and then
the distinct personalities like Ratchet, the medic.
Yes.
Ironhide, the weapons expert.
Yes.
Jazz, the black one.
And guess what? Jazz dies.
Yeah, and he's the one who dies. He's the only one who dies at the end.
Yes.
Gets ripped in half by Megatron.
You want a piece of meat? No, I want two.
Yeah, voiced by Hugo Weaving. Megatron.
Hugo Weaving did
Megatron. Hugo Weaving voiced Megatron in the first three Transformers.
Wow,
movies.
Talk about a Benedict Cumberbatch Smaug voice transition.
Yeah, there's a very fun video of Hugo Weaving online talking in Cybertronian. He's like, "What does it mean?"
Oh man, yeah. You remember how Optimus Prime and all the other Autobots were like, no one could defeat Megatron, and they held true to that in the first movie.
Yeah.
But in the second, third, fourth, and fifth movie, Megatron was just like a little.
Yeah,
bitch.
people beat Megatron every movie.
Yeah.
Transformers sequels are good. Fight me. All right, back to Speed Kills.
Wait, Revenge of the Fallen?
One of the more interesting movies.
The
made.
pyramids are spaceships?
Do you know why that movie's interesting?
No.
Because it was made during the writer's strike.
Oh, right.
And the writers had 2 weeks roughly to write the script of that movie.
Mm.
And they didn't really finish.
They did the best they could.
They didn't get a chance to really finish.
Yeah.
So do you know who had to write the script for that movie?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is basically just a Michael Bay fever dream.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, you can really feel all of his interests and obsessions are in that movie.
Yeah, like showing Megan Fox's ass.
Yes, but like
oh yeah,
no, but like
yeah, for sure.
Watch that movie and watch how every scene changes genre. Like it's not like the first movie and the latter movies have like a consistent.
That's the
genre
one where it
to
also
them.
transforms a hot college girl into a Decepticon, right?
It starts out as like a stoner college comedy.
Yeah, right.
Where Shia LaBeouf's to college. And then it turns into a conspiracy thriller where the government is hunting Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
They go to they teleport to Egypt, and it becomes an Indiana Jones style, like, tomb adventure.
There's a space bit in it. I swear to God.
They're like they're exploring tombs in Egypt, trying to find ancient Transformer knowledge. Then it turns into a war movie when there's a massive battle at a Egyptian tomb.
Right.
And at the end, Shia LaBeouf dies. He gets blowed up by Megatron. And he wakes up in robot heaven. Where, these, angelic Transformers walk up and they're like, "You have passed the test. You have proven your courage, and you are worthy of owning the matrix of leadership. Now go back." And he wakes back up perfectly fine in the real world. And he, he revives Optimus Prime. And the pyramids are absorbing the sun.
But he also absorbs the Black Hawk old fuck Transformer.
Yes.
Turns into OG Optimus.
Yes, he gets a jetpack.
And then he's able to stomp the crap out of Megatron easily. Yeah. Which he stomped the crap out of him
and
easily
he rips the head out of the Fallen.
Yes, he does.
And then the movie ends with Optimus Prime shedding his deceased brethren's skin. Because the Transformers sacrifice themselves, take my parts, and then once he uses them, he
who voices that Black Hawk?
Mark Ryan, I think. Jetfire. Text me, Mark Ryan, or check me. I really liked those movies a while ago. I still kind of enjoy them.
Rise of the Beast?
Yeah, that's the next Transformers movie. Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Anyway, Revenge of the Fallen is fascinating because it's just a glimpse into what Michael Bay's brain operates like. And it's just, he's like, all right, now we're in an Indiana Jones movie.
Rainn
all right,
Wilson's
now we're in a war movie. He plays the college professor who hits on his students.
Yeah. Talk about inside the mind of
Do you know who's in Transformers 3? Dark of the Moon?
I'm afraid.
How many Academy Award winners are in Transformers Dark of the Moon?
Isn't Kelsey Grammer in Transformers 3?
He's in Transformers 4.
Who isn't? Oh, McDreamy.
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey is in Transformers 3.
But how many Academy Award winners are in Transformers?
But hold
Dark
on,
of the
before I
Moon?
answer that question, isn't that also the one where they try to pass off the Milwaukee Art Museum as being in Washington D.C.?
Yes. That is the one where they do that.
Which actually, in fact, they're taking a helicopter from D.C. to Chicago, but in realistic terms, taking from the helicopter from Milwaukee to Chicago is more realistic.
So in the movie, he drives to the Milwaukee Art Museum, which is now in D.C. But then later in the movie, they take a helicopter from the Milwaukee Art Museum to Chicago, which doesn't make sense if it's still in D.C.
Right.
Anyway, that's Transformers 3. But, Stuart, I want you to try and guess.
You are right, by the way. It's Mark Ryan, Jetfire.
Yes, I am correct, because I am always correct.
You are God.
Try and guess a few Academy Award winners who are in Transformers.
Well, I have the IMDb in front of me.
Okay, yeah. You got
Frances McDormand?
Frances McDormand is in Transformers Dark of the Moon.
And John Malkovich is in it.
And John Malkovich. Those are the two Academy Award winners. But think about some other people who are in this movie. Do you want me to list them all for you? Some names?
Sure.
John Turturro.
Yeah, I knew that.
Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
Lester Speight, who played Terry Tate, office linebacker in those commercials back in the day.
I just found a guy who's in it.
Alan Tudyk is in this. Ken Jeong is in it. Buzz Aldrin is in it, as we talked about in our Boy in the Plastic Bubble episode
Buzz
many
Aldrin's
years ago.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly is in it.
Did you say many years ago when we talked about
Yeah.
the plastic? Don't ever say many years ago when we refer to this podcast ever again. It was last year, you
and
freak.
It was Bill O'Reilly.
But you know who else is in Transformers Dark of the Moon?
Who?
Elia Baskin. Do you know who Elia Baskin is?
Rent. Oh yeah, the rent
Give
guy.
me rent. Get your rent when you fix this damn door.
But yeah, he is in this movie. He plays a Russian cosmonaut.
Yes.
Yes. John Turturro takes them to go see to discover that the Russians went to the moon and stole a Sentinel Prime and brought it to Earth or something like that.
Not a Sentinel Prime, a seed. That was the really problematic.
No,
plot
that's
point.
Transformers 4 is it's a seed.
No, because
Transformers 3 is the space bridge.
Oh,
Transformers 4 is the seed.
That's right. 4 is the seed.
And Megatron just go, bring me my seed. But yeah, Transformers 4 is the one where there's the seed, and Kelsey Grammer is playing.
That's the one where the beat pill turns into like
no, Stanley Tucci's in that one.
Oh, you're right.
And there's a part where like they take transformium is what they call it.
Oh my god!
And he's like, see, you can use transformium to do anything. And he's like, you like music? And he throws the pill, and it turns into a beat pill, and the camera lingers on it. Because they got that's also the one where Mark Wahlberg crashes a ship in Chicago. And some guy's like, I hope you have insurance. And Mark Wahlberg picks a Bud Light off the ground, shoves it at the camera, pops the talk out, and takes a sip. And he's like, wait, you want spaceship insurance? You think I got spaceship insurance? Because he's playing a Texan from Boston.
But that's also my favorite one where, he's like, do you have a warrant? And he looks at him and says, my face is the warrant.
Yeah, my face is my warrant.
And then later on, Optimus Prime crashes out of the barn and screams, here I am! Romeo and Juliet law clause.
Yes, and he has a...
why I could fuck your underage daughter.
Yes. He has it laminated. Jack Raynor.
Who's the guy that dies in like the
TJ Miller. TJ Miller gets caught in a massive explosion and gets turned into a metal... TJ Miller, now known to be a sex pest.
Yes.
But at the time, everyone's like, oh, TJ Miller.
The next, Amy Schumer, basically.
Yeah, everyone's like, TJ Miller, bring some personality to this movie. And he is punished for it. He is punished to bring character to this movie. It's also the one that was like co-sponsored by the Chinese government.
Right.
So at the end, they're fighting. The robots are all fighting in Hong Kong, and it cuts to like a Chinese war room, and a Chinese official walks up to another Chinese official and is like, "The central government is coming to help. Praise them." And then it cuts back to the robots fighting. But yeah, you know what's funny about that? Stanley Tucci's in that one. Yes. Stanley Tucci's also in Transformers 5.
Yes.
But playing a different character.
What?
Because in Transformers 4, he's playing like a CEO of some company.
Yeah.
In Transformers 5, The Last Night, Stanley Tucci starts the beginning of the movie. He's one of the first characters. He plays Merlin the Wizard.
Oh, is he just voicing it?
No, he is physically playing Merlin the Wizard. Because Transformers 5 starts with a flashback to ancient knights, where King Arthur is fighting the Saxons. And Merlin goes to a crashed Autobot ship and has a bunch of knight Transformers turn into a dragon and come and destroy the Saxons. And it's established that all our myths about like magic are in fact based around Transformers being on our planet. Now, Stuart, when I say that movie is called The Last Night, who do you think that's referring to?
Optimus Prime.
Do you know who it is in fact referring to?
Mark Wahlberg.
Because at the end of that, like two-thirds of the way, this is a much more interesting than Speed Kills, everybody.
Yes.
About 2/3 of the way through The Last Night, they discover Merlin's tomb, and Mark Wahlberg gets like this little thing attached to his arm, and they don't know what it is. And then like Optimus Prime turns bad in this movie, and he's fighting Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg like jumps in front. He's like, "No, you can't fight him. You can't fight. He can't kill Bumblebee." And he's like, he swings his arm to stop Optimus Prime, and the thing that has attached himself to him folds out, and it turns into Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur.
Wow.
Which uses to stop the blade, because it's revealed that Mark Wahlberg is the last knight. He is the last in the descendant of the Arthurian knights. And he stops the Transformers, and all these big robots bow to him. And then the Navy SEALs show up, and they go and they raid a Cybertron or something. Anthony Hopkins is in that movie. He tries to take Megatron on 101 with like his cane that turns into a shotgun. He gets blowed up. And the greatest character in this history of filmmaking, Cogman, comes over and says, "In all the masters I served, you were the coolest." Cogman's a great character. He's like a robot butler, voiced by one of the guys from Downton Abbey.
Interesting.
All right. Do you like how we segued through every Transformers movie there?
I did.
We went through all 5.
We went through all 5.
We did not talk about Bumblebee.
No,
but it's not a mainline movie, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it either.
Bumblebee's actually pretty good.
I've heard it's pretty good.
Bumblebee is surprisingly pretty good.
I should probably watch it, actually.
Yeah. It is surprisingly rather charming.
I heard it's got Super 8 vibes.
Yeah, it has like classic Spielberg-y, like Amblin film vibes.
Yeah.
It's pretty charming.
It's amazing that we talk about classic Amblin vibes. Amblin's still around.
Yeah. But Amblin ain't making like...
No, they're not. They're making Ready Player One bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped like making... Spielberg's using Amblin again instead of DreamWorks, so their movies are getting better, but they kind of, you know, disappeared.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I don't want to.
We gotta.
I was having such a good time.
All right. So
okay, so he races boats.
Yeah,
He's
he races
dealing
boats.
is like letting his boats be, mules for these drug smuggling.
He gets
Meanwhile,
remarried.
He gets remarried to
Emily,
who is on a date with like the king of Persia or some bullshit.
something like that, who's played by Catherine Winnick, who doesn't exist.
There's one scene where George Bush shows up.
No, that was such a low lead into that. That's the best scene of this movie. Because like he says, I'm talking to a pretty big client today. And a bunch of like cars with US flags pull up. And out of this car gets fucking Matthew Modine as George H.W. Bush.
For people who don't know,
when I tell you I am hooting and howling.
For people who don't know who Matthew Modine is, season 1 of Stranger Things, Papa.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah. He's Eleven's dad.
He's in one scene of this movie. I am laughing so hard because it says Matthew Modine comes out as George H.W. Bush. I like that boat you got over there.
George Bush.
George H.W.
H.W., not W.
It's like, I like that boat over there.
Because he's the vice president.
He's the vice president at the time.
To Reagan. Yeah.
Yes. It's so fucking funny. I warned you that this was going to happen. I said, there's an appearance that you're not expecting. And you text me all caps, Matthew Modine is George Bush.
I was hooting and hollering too.
It's so funny.
I was like, what the fuck is this doing in the movie?
But we got to talk about the racing scene in the middle of this movie. The storm.
Oh, God, the storm.
So,
I mean, what's there to say about it? They're going to race in this, like,
yeah, there's going to be a storm.
There's going to be a storm. A lot of people drop out, but not
Ben Aronoff.
Because he's not off.
Yes, he's on. And so Ben Aronoff takes part in this race. And we get maybe the funniest sequence of a movie I've ever seen.
It's just really bad CGI.
It's him and his partner in their boat. And there's like these low-res PS2 looking ass waves going up and down. And he's like, Argh! And it's like clearly just a green screen shot of him and his partner holding a boat because they're not moving.
No, they're not.
They're very like static, and the boat's just like,
like moving with that mic, please.
Moving up and down.
Well, like, have you seen The Perfect Storm?
No.
With George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, John C. Reilly, Diane Lane, William.
I have not.
Really? It's a decent movie, but it's about like fishermen getting stuck inside a massive storm.
Yes.
And it's like okay effects. It's not the best. It's better than this movie. But guess what year The Perfect Storm came out? Fucking 2000.
Yes.
Then what is this bullshit?
There's like a CGI helicopter that's like moving like a jet plane like through the clouds. This guy's in the cockpit like, we can't lose him. Ben and his partner like static shot of them holding onto a boat. They're flying up and down.
We're gonna make it.
We cut to like shots of the waves. It's like I said, it looks like a PS2
if the train reaches Wake Tower, the whole city's gonna blow.
It looks like fucking Shadow of the Colossus or something like that. Stuart's dying over there about speed kills.
And it cuts to the next day.
Yes, it cuts to the next day.
The boat's missing.
They're the only people who haven't been discovered. Everyone's like, Ben's dead.
And then eventually...
Who does Emily see out in the distance? Ben Aronoff returning. And there's like applause and everyone's happy. Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Yeah,
that's how the movie ends.
The next 20 to 30 minutes are just like mob business.
Yes.
There's a lot of mob business.
Yeah.
It's like guys sitting in easy chairs in the rooms being like, you're going to help us with this.
You're going to get indicted. We're going to make sure he doesn't talk. Basically, what I just said, you're going to get indicted.
Every we'll dialogue.
That's every piece of dialogue from that point to the end of the movie.
Yeah. Ben, every time, is just like, I'm not going to help you. And the mob's like, yes, you are. And he's like, no, I'm not. And that's 30 minutes. All the while, like, mobsters keep trying to put the hit out on him.
Oh, remember we were talking about Transformers?
Yeah, remember when we did that? They keep putting the hit out on him.
Yeah.
And they keep failing.
It's not a very good hit, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently the mobsters in Miami, Florida suck. Yeah.
But he sends his wife away at the end. And then we go back to the beginning of the movie with him and Tom Sizemore.
And he gets shot. And like, here's the thing about this, though, Jeff. You think that because we're starting the movie off with the same scene, you think it's gonna change at the end, but like we don't see him get shot. Meaning, in normal normal stereotypical ways the movie would begin, is it sets you up with that cliffhanger. But then when we get to that scene, it pays off with him not dying. Like it turns out he shot something else or he's wounded or whatever.
No, he just dies.
He just dies.
No, but first they play the entire opening scene again.
The entire opening
we
scene.
see the whole business with Sizemore and him.
We got to fill in that runtime, baby.
Yeah, because this movie is an hour and 45 minutes and not short enough. But he gets shot and he falls out of his car bleeding.
Dies.
And we get the craziest flashback.
The flashback scene.
We get a CGI render of an eyeball. And we zoom into the eye and we see like a galaxy appear.
Yes, we do see
it's like a whole galaxy appear. It's like a CGI rendering of like the Milky Way.
Yes.
And like we just start zooming in on it. We get all these like intercut, like opaque images from the movie of him being happy.
Yeah.
And like House of the Rising, no, it doesn't actually. It's not.
Well,
God.
I was thinking it's like Armageddon when like Bruce Willis flips the switch and it goes a quick zoom into his eye and it's all like
it's the same bit.
It's the same bit,
but it's insane looking
because they had a fucking galaxy.
Yeah, and the whole time he's laying there like dying.
Yeah. And then he dies, and then there's like a weird trippy, like there's a weird like funeral procession montage about how amazing of a person Ben Aronoff was. Meanwhile, this dude fucking like worked with the mob and to mule drugs, cheated on his wife, was a terrible father, careless about his business, treated his friends like shit. This guy was not a good
family.
This guy was not a good person.
Yeah.
He's not a good person. But this movie at the end wants you to make you think it's like, we loved him, didn't we? We
Ben
loved
Aronoff,
him.
what a guy.
What a guy. Right?
But yeah, that's the movie.
That's the movie. That's Speed Kills.
Yeah.
Is there any post text for this movie?
No, it comes out in direct to video. It gets a 0% Rotten Tomatoes. No one sees it.
It costed $15 million, but Jeff and I are convinced that's a laundering scheme.
Yeah, we're pretty sure this movie was a money laundering scheme. Yeah, that's Speed Kills. That's all it does for him.
Yeah. Yeah. What do we got coming up after this?
Ooh, movie-wise?
Yeah.
It's 3 straight bangers after this.
3 straight bangers?
We have that's right, folks. We only have 3 movies left. Can you believe that? We are almost done. We're 3 movies away.
Wow. I can't.
After this, it's Trading Paint.
With Morgan Freeman.
No, Trading Paint is the one with Shania Twain.
Oh, sorry.
Then it's The Poison Rose with Morgan Freeman.
Okay. And
then we end with The Fanatic.
I'm looking forward to The Fanatic.
Where he plays Moose.
Fucking Moose.
Yeah.
You know what The Fanatic gives me vibes of?
What?
Tusk. Because Travolta just seems like he's like akin to now playing those crazy ass old people who like you don't really pay attention to, but it's your mistake that you don't, because eventually halfway through the movie they chop all your limbs off and turn you into a walrus.
Yes.
That's what John Travolta feels like in The Fanatic. Feels like Tusk.
Yeah.
What a movie, Tusk.
Tusk.
Why did they kill him at the end? They kept him alive as a fucking walrus.
So fucking walrus. They turned him into a fucking walrus. You know,
Johnny Depp's in that movie.
Very rarely is there a movie that delivers on the premise. And Tusk calls you, we're turning this guy into a walrus. Let me tell you, they do.
Fucking do it though.
Yeah.
And boy, does it deliver.
Yes. Are we done talking about Speed Kills?
Hold on a second. I want to look up a line in that movie.
From Tusk?
From Tusk. It's one of my favorite lines in all of cinema. I want to see if it's in there, if it's in the quote section, because otherwise I'm not going to say it correctly, and it's one thing that I have to get right. The walrus is far more evolved than any man I've ever known, present company included. Yeah, I'm still trying to look for it.
Oh my word.
Okay. Yeah. Guy Lapointe.
Guy Lapointe. That's what you're looking for?
No. That's just
Johnny Depp character.
Johnny Depp character.
What are we doing?
Oh, wait.
They say, I'm going to turn you into a walrus. And he says, no, I won't.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm not going to find it. That's sad. That's really sad. It's a killer line. I don't know. It basically, he's just like, it's the moment when he like is in the walrus costume with, guy who gets her, what the fuck, actor, come on. The guy who gets turned into a walrus, his name is
Justin Long.
Justin Long. Fuck
Oh my
me.
God.
Fuck me. But it's like the scene when Justin Long's already a walrus, and the Howard Hay or whatever, that's a character name. He's in the walrus costume, and like they're having like a walrus fight where they're trying to like kill each other as walruses. God, what a movie.
All right. Thank you, folks, for listening. Next week, make sure to tune in to listen to Trading Paint, if you dare.
I want to smell paint.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. As always, please remember to rate, review, subscribe whenever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Pop to our Reddit, r/Travolting. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TravoltingPod. TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com. Email, find me at Jeff W. Sweeney. Find Stuart.
You can find me on Instagram at Stuart Elmore 95.
Yeah, and always special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design and Michael Van Bodegum Smith for our theme music that's now taking you out. See you next week for Trading Paint.